didn't bring that rifle. It was a friend of his that was from that area that gave him that rifle to
Probably
use.
gave it to him because he was nuts to go out there and help anyway.
Yeah.
I'd give a friend of mine a rifle too, going, hey, if you're dumb enough to go out there and help these people, here, you need to protect yourself.
But the problem is he's only 17.
Yeah.
And his life is over. His mother's life is over. I don't know. Domestic terrorists. That's what they are. Domestic terrorists.
Yep.
That's the name of the show. I tell you that right now. I will stop doing this if I don't put the name of it, domestic terrorist. It's simple as that.
I agree. And see, all this begins to me, and I said there were two things I go by. One was the color. If you pick a color, you're a racist. The other one I would say is, history's there for a reason. It's to learn by. If you get rid of history, you have nothing to keep you from repeating it. Good and bad history. This is not a utopian society. We're not utopian people. History's good, history's bad. I don't care where you go or what time. If you have to respect and keep history, keep a record, keep everything with it. Yeah. It might not be good, but at least now I have, if it's a bad statue for something I don't believe in, but I can tell my child, that's a statue of this person. He did this, this, and this. I don't like that he did this. But you have to respect and keep history.
I'm domestic terrorists. That's what they are. I don't know.
Well, by definition, they are terrorists.
Yeah, you're going into a neighborhood and you're terrorizing the homeowners. Get out of your houses.
What I want to see is when they actually get labeled. If Trump keeps office, I promise you, Antifa and Black Lives Matter will be labeled terrorist organizations. I guarantee it. Yeah. And they deserve it with what they've caused and done. And it doesn't matter about the color of your skin. I would say that, and did say that, about white supremacists.
Is it too big? Let me ask you this. Do you think it's too big to stop this Black Lives movement?
No.
Black Lives
the
Matter
Black Lives
movement?
Matter. Are you talking about the movement or the company?
Movement.
No, all it would take is standing up, because you've seen every time they really get stepped on, they stop. It's over. Because those are regular people out there.
But they're regular people that
yeah.
think that the Black Lives Matter is standing behind them.
Yes.
Well, once the government comes in there, Black Lives Matter pulls out. The corporate.
That's why I don't think.
And leave these white kids and the black kids that are doing all this rioting, leaving them out to hang.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm saying it's not big enough to fall, because there's only a few people in charge of everything. If you take those few people and that money away and you get them stepped on, everything ends. The only way they do anything or get anything that they've got done, the riots, the burning, somebody high up has to shut the governor down, shut the mayor down, shut the chief of police down, shut the police department down. Those four things don't happen. That doesn't happen.
I watched an interview with one of the leaders of the Black Lives Matter, and I don't even know what station it was on. And she or he was asking questions of that leader, and it was a female that was asking the questions, and she asked the question, and he danced all the way around it, and he was bringing up other things, and she was like, no, answer my question. And he just got louder and louder and louder and wanted to talk about this and wanted to talk about that. And she was like, are you going to answer my question? And he never answered her question. Finally, she said, well, this is going, I'm the interviewer. I'm interviewing you. You don't want to, all you want to do is
state their statements.
State.
Because if you look and you listen, they all have the same one. It's a planned out statement. They're allowed to say. They're not going to answer any questions to what they're doing.
Yeah.
They have a statement. The reparation statement is a statement. The Black Lives Matter. Oh, because we're protecting ourselves against police that want to kill us. We're hunted in the streets. We're shot down in the streets. We're this, we're that. But if you throw numbers at them and show them that that's not true. Oh, no. They watch TV. They heard it from their friend. This is how it is.
And finally, that reporter just said, this basically ain't working. We're going to end this. And she shut him down.
I met a guy about 2 weeks ago, and he literally believed that, up until Black Lives Matter stood up in New York, they actually had police squads that would just go and beat up any black person they saw in the street walking down the road. I mean, I lived in New York. I've lived in New York, up in the Heights. I've lived in L.A. I lived down towards Watts. I lived in Brownsville, Texas. Okay, I don't care what color you are. There's racists in there. I've met racist black people. I met racist Mexican people, Asian people, white people. The only thing that is exactly the same about them is they don't want to hear truth or fact. They want to hate. It's a blackness of heart. It's not a color of skin.
One day, I'll be dead and gone. One day, we probably won't see it. But I guarantee you, that by what they're doing, when we watch these YouTube videos and the Twitter videos, you're only seeing very small. Very small.
Yeah.
But if you were able to watch exactly what happened, you'll see the true story.
Well, all right. Here, there's a firm example for you. Take the George Floyd video. You saw what happened with them, what they put out, and that was the end of it.
And they put it out.
Now, exactly the way they wanted to.
Exactly.
Now, had they have put out the original with everything, all of it, would you have still had problems? Yes. Would it have been the extreme it was? Probably not. Maybe yes, just because I think the Democratic Party jumped on that so fast and sent money and got them going.
And believe me, that was a tragic that happened to Floyd. The officer that had the knee on his neck. Yeah, he needs not to be an officer.
Well, he needed not to be an officer.
But he's not the one that caused the death of that man.
No. Well, it
was the drugs.
Yeah, and like I said, haven't always been a good person. I've had that maneuver put on me. It sucks. I ain't gonna lie about that. But I've also been a bouncer in a number of bars when I was young, and I've taken martial arts. And you can tell by the way he's placed on his back, the pressure wasn't on his neck. I can lay you down, put my knee on your neck, and you know what's going to happen when I do that? I'm going to fold your head backwards towards my body. His head stayed flat on the pavement. That's not your neck.
How, I don't know.
It's just the media using it. It's
domestic terrorists. That's all.
And a lot of it is media too doing it because they want ratings, and they want Trump gone too because Trump tells them the truth and tells them they're fake.
Yeah. Domestic terrorists. That's all the hell they are. Mm-hmm. And I know they have the news has freedom of speech and all that, but when if I come out and said you're a child molester, and I put it all over the news, you're a child molester, guess what? You can sue me.
You're liable, yes.
I'm liable because I just ruined your life. Mm-hmm. That needs to happen more.
Oh,
to these news outlets. They've got a lot of money, and that's
news outlets. Well, it does kind of happen depending on how big the story is. Like that one kid that sued the Times for a bunch of money for lying about what he was
Trump
doing
supporter
in front of the Indian.
Yeah.
So that does happen. Where I'm finding the problem, and I hate.
They invited him to speak at the RNC.
Probably
that kid.
Yeah. He's also doing something else on his own now too.
Good.
And somebody
Good for
else
him.
has done something to him almost the same, because somebody was saying, yeah, he's gonna end up suing somebody else because they were lying. But and it's something I really hate saying, because in my heart I don't agree with it, but they've proven that it has to happen. I think Twitter and Facebook need to be regulated, because they've already proven that they're not going to be fair.
I hate regulating.
I can't
Have
stand
you seen
it.
Zuckerberg?
Zuckerberg, yeah.
Have you seen the way he looks? He looks like an alien.
He always looked like an alien.
Oh, he's really bad now, because he got on there and basically said, we don't steer.
I've watched him. I've literally watched him. I've actually put things out there just to see what they would do with it. I mean, okay, then you tell me why ISIS has a Facebook. But let's take who were the two brothers we like?
The twins.
The twins, yeah, Hodge twins. They don't have a Facebook, but ISIS has a Facebook. Is that okay? That's not steering?
I hope. Well, the Hodge twins. I don't know why they got kicked off of Facebook, but now you're talking a lot of money. Yeah. They had millions of followers.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money, and they got kicked off of Facebook.
But they're not the only ones.
Yeah, they're going over after all the conservative.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That you're still steering it.
Yeah,
they're not steering like taking away from the parties. They're taking away who supports and gets their party out.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that one kid's name? Always looking at the videos with the red hat and making fun of.
Oh, yeah.
He cracks me up.
Terrence,
yeah. But yet, the guy that does the Young Turks, he's still got a Facebook.
Yeah. It's. Oh, man, I just watched. What's her name? The blonde-headed girl.
Which one?
She goes to all the college campuses.
I can't remember her name.
Bennett. Her last name's Bennett. Kaylee Bennett.
Kaylee Bennett.
Is it Kaylee?
I think.
Kaylee Bennett. She went to a college where the guy from Young Turks was speaking, a live show. And she started asking him questions, and he was like, hey, look, you got to go because we're getting ready to go live. And they kind of pushed her back.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, going live? I'm going to give them something to talk about.
But there's no more. I mean, I can remember growing up, and politics was that banter back and forth of who you thought was right. And, you didn't have what you have now, to where I'm right, you can't talk. I mean, I still see Republicans wanting to debate. They're constantly wanting to debate and talk about this and let's figure this out. But when you get to a liberal, there's no debate. There's, I'm right, you're wrong, shut up.
Yeah.
That's because most liberalism isn't real Democratic Party anymore. It's Marxist communist, where you don't have a right, shut up.
It's going to be one of these days that I'm going to be dead and gone. Maybe this will all end. But I tell you, I wished I would be around when that's going to happen. But we'll be dead and gone.
Oh yeah.
Domestic terrorism. That's a shame. Look at who was the guy that blew up the Trade Center first time?
You talking about Osama bin Laden?
No. White guy.
Oh, you're talking about the guy that put the fertilizer in there.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name.
They called him a terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
Domestic terrorist.
Yeah.
He's only one guy.
He only did one building.
Look at all these Black Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. Look at all the Antifas.
Oh yeah.
And we're not calling them
domestic
terrorists. That's crazy. Domestic terrorists.
Well, just think about it. They won't call Black Lives Matter domestic terrorists because that might be racist. We're not sure. But all cops can die. All white people need to get out of their homes and pay us. And everything's white this, white that, white this, white that.
What did they say? What what was the question? Trump said this the other day. He said when he first got in office, he heard, them protesting, pigs fry like bacon and stuff like that. What?
Well, look at Trump. Nobody ever called him racist once. He was on Oprah Winfrey. He did shows with Snoop Dogg. I think he did one with Ice-T and stuff. Always at parties and stuff. He wasn't racist until he became president.
Yeah. And now like Snoop Dogg.
Oh, they hate him now.
He hates him, and he talks out against him.
Well, that's not surprising because that's his money. I mean, if Snoop Dogg came out and said, "Oh, we like him," yeah, he'd lose 90% of his base. Yeah.
I used to like his show when he had it on TV.
Snoop, Joker's Wild?
Whatever it was.
The game show?
Him and his family.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, okay.
Reality show. I like that show. Too bad he turned into be a big ass. Domestic terrorism. Antifa. Why haven't we went after... If the government says that Antifa is domestic terrorism...
Because the government doesn't list Antifa as a domestic terrorist. And when they were out before, they all of a sudden they just disappeared. Because when Trump got in office and they got away from the Occupy Wall Street, they just kind of disappeared into the background. They didn't become available really for anything until after the whole pandemic thing, and that wasn't until they started seeing, this pandemic's not going to make it till November. We need something else. I'm sorry, that's all of this was just something else. It's like I heard somebody saying, now their big thing is Trump killed 200,000 people, but nobody's bringing up the fact that Trump started shutting everything down, and Nancy Pelosi and Cuomo were all sitting there going, "Oh no, he's xenophobic. He's overreacting. He's not this. Oh no, everything's fine." Yeah. But that doesn't
shut
count.
Down the borders.
Yeah, that doesn't count because they're Democrats.
Well, Obama shut down the borders, didn't he? At one point.
I'm not sure. I know he didn't even get involved with. Didn't even say anything about the H1N1 virus when it happened till like after 3,000 people were dead, and they really didn't even get involved and do anything and do any mass things until 100,000 people were dead, United States alone.
Domestic terrorism.
You know what's funny? I put what
I think if I say that enough, people will start thinking that away.
I think people
domestic
are thinking
terrorism,
now, they're just scared to say it out loud. Kind of like they're scared to say they're voting for Trump. But you know what? I do a lot of this stuff between the riots and the flu and everything, the way they're treating them, the way they're doing Trump. And what's the new one? He played it down, which is his job. Okay, you know what I matched that to? Do you remember when 9/11 happened and Bush was sitting in front of a kindergarten class reading a book?
He didn't know what to do.
No, well, they came and told him what happened, but he kept reading the book to the kids. Now, later on, he got in trouble because, he didn't react fast enough. He just stayed there. He didn't do nothing. He's in front of people, not causing a panic, handling it, getting that over with, then moving to the next thing. That's his job. That's leadership.
But he didn't know what to do. And they came back in there and told him, "Mr. President, we have to go."
Yeah.
And that's when he wrapped it up. It's
But he didn't go to straight panic mode. Oh my God, we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
And Trump did the same thing. That's leadership. His job is to take responsibility and handle everything. Make you think everything is safe and you'll be fine.
It's like
what are we gonna do?
The guy that was in D.C. and they were out in the Rose Garden or wherever, and there was a gunshot, and Secret Service come over and said, "Mr. President, we have a situation." No, he was in the war room, as with all the
Talking about when they took him to the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he got hammered for going into the basement. Somebody was shooting at the White House.
Well, what they are not understanding is right. I've read some of the stuff and I've watched the documentary on it to know. Just curious. Once it gets to a certain point, like there's if they deem it something bad, president doesn't have any authority. He does exactly what he's told. He's jerked, dragged, whatever to where they say.
Yeah, I like Reagan. He was giving a speech, and somebody popped a balloon, and he kept going. Then he said, "You missed me," and he kept going with his speech.
Well, he's got what?
He'd
Shot
been
at
shot
6 times, been shot twice, or something like that.
I mean,
it's funny how this always happens to Democratic presidents. When the Democrats want to take an office,
it's domestic terrorism. Said it again. I said it again, and I'm going to keep.
I'm actually more leaning towards not domestic terrorists, just terrorists, because technically speaking, at least Black Lives Matter are global now.
Yeah, they are.
So they're not domestic; they're straight out terrorists.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, they're not rioting down in Australia yet. Let them riot in Australia. They don't put up with no bullshit. They will come in and stop
a lot of Australia, I would look at it right here. I mean, Australia would remind me of Texas. You want to be careful what you do with those people because, get out of the city. And it's more of a, if you're going to talk bad, you better be bad.
Yeah. Or you're going to end up in a hole like out in Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't know. Domestic terrorism. Antifa, Black Lives Matter. And no matter how you look at it, corporate is right there with them.
The Democratic Party, corporate, everything.
Yeah, they're right there with them. I don't... maybe one day after President Trump is back in office, you're going to find out what's going to happen.
I think 20 years from now, this is going to be like watching those old Kennedy assassination videos where like, we don't really know why it happened, but this is what led to it.
Yeah.
Everything else. Nobody knows what happened. And because all the documents are blacked out.
If the Democrats are back in there, you're going to find out that you're going to lose a lot of rights. And
the Democrats are back in. They're not the Democrats that you.
No,
they're not the Clinton era Democrats. These are way different.
And if you follow that, like I say, follow that money, and if you find out Democrats are behind all this bullshit, label them.
You want to know what a big thing is that shows you the Democrats aren't the Democratic Party? Kennedy lost to another Democrat representative.
Mm-hmm.
Kennedy lost to a more extremist Democrat. It's not the same party.
I tell you, I believe in the Second Amendment.
Believe in all the amendments. I think they all had a purpose.
Yeah. Domestic terrorism. We have it on our soil.
If you put in the comments how many times he said domestic terrorism, we'll put your name on a list, and we'll know you watched the video.
Yeah. Domestic terrorism. And, believe it or not, write your congressperson. Tell them you don't believe in this. I mean, unless you're one of the domestic terrorists, just write your congressperson and tell them.
See, I don't
this
have
shit's
faith in
got
that.
to stop.
I don't have faith in that working anymore, though, because I mean, think about something. Do you think that the people in Portland didn't call, going, "Hey, what's going on here"? Like I said, those are Democratic controlled areas, and all they do is, yeah, okay, we'll let you know. Click.
Yeah,
that's it.
Domestic terrorism. Sad day in our country. when we got terrorists on our soil. On 9/11 the other day, you didn't hear much about 9/11. Very little. Not like it's been in the past.
What happened on 9/11 that was news? Oh, that's right. They honored a rapist at a football game.
Yeah.
That's what happened on 9/11 that was news.
Can you imagine being the girl that he raped? Can you imagine her sit there and
The whole
look
family.
at that? And look at that and go, they're honoring this guy and he raped me.
Yeah.
And he has, the last time I heard, 2.2 million. And that was a week ago, sitting in an account for him.
Yeah. Well, you have Kamala Harris going in and going, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
What was that? I'm proud of you. Go rape a couple more. I mean, how's that working out?
That's a shame. You know what? My wife, back years ago, I've always had it concealed. And my wife come to me and she said she wanted a concealed permit. She wanted to carry a gun. And I said, nope, you ain't shooting me.
About her shooting you.
You ain't shooting me, girl. And I fought it for a long time. And then she got into a job where she needed to protect herself if need to be. So we went out and got her a gun. And you know what? If you're a law-abiding citizen and you think you need to start protecting yourself, get your gun permit. Get your gun permit and carry your gun. Learn how to use it, because one day you might need it. This girl that Blake raped her 2 times. Didn't he?
Actually, raped her a number of times. Apparently they were in a relationship at one time or something, but it went bad. But he just came over and took when he wanted to, and I guess he's kind of a gangster type. I'm not sure on all the details on that.
You need to protect yourself. And my wife got her gun permit, and she learned how to use her gun, and she carries a gun whenever she needs to. I've carried a gun for years. I've had permits, multiple states.
Personally,
you never know.
I get a lot of flack for this from some people, and some people understand, some people agree. I think you have to have permits to conceal carry, but I think you ought to be allowed to open carry. If you get caught and you don't have the right to open carry, then you should be arrested. But if you have no charges, not lost your rights, you should be allowed to open carry. Can you imagine the crime that would go away? Now, initially, you would probably have a good bit, but how much would go away? Is a bank robber going to walk into a bank and pull out a gun and go, there's 15 people with guns. I can shoot them 15 first. Hopefully nobody's got a carry permit and might have one hidden. Or what was it? There was a 7-Eleven down the road in town. Oh, no, it was a Dollar Tree on the other side of town that they were robbed and somebody was pistol whipped.
And then he shot the gun in the store.
Did he actually shoot it?
Yes.
Okay.
And in Florida, that adds 20 years to your sentence.
Did they catch him?
No.
I wonder if they got cameras and film.
Oh, I'm sure they got cameras in that store.
I hope so.
Once you fire a firearm on a robbery, I believe in Florida,
it shows intent.
It adds 20 years.
But that was just always my argument. Open carry. If everybody open carried, how much crime would go away? I mean, think about it. Nobody goes to somewhere they look for those signs that these idiots put on we are a gun-free zone. Good, that's where I'm going to go commit my crime.
Domestic terrorists.
I wonder if I'd be a domestic terrorist because I carry my gun in a gun-free zone
I think that's all I'm going to say. Domestic terrorist. I said it again.
Remember, keep count.
I don't like the idea of domestic terrorism. With that said, I'm Doug.
I'm Chris.
I think I'm gonna name this video "Domestic Terrorism."
I think you said that like 5 times, just
Yeah.
that one alone.
Yeah, domestic terrorism.
And remember, if you have to pick a color, you are the racist.
Give us a thumbs up if you like it. If you want to talk about it more, write it in the comments. Ask us questions. We'll get back with you. Remember, subscribe. That's very important. We're not doing this for money.
There's no money in it right
There's
now.
no money in this kind of stuff. But
If we are, there might be if we get to be like the Hodge twins and get kicked off of Facebook.
getting kicked off of Facebook. Just give us a thumbs up if you like it, okay? Talk to you later. Bye.